This is Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast. I'm Mark Berry. This week on Top Shelf, our ine+nutrition player spotlight with Emanuel Sequeira is with Taylor Haggerty of the Fernie Ghostriders. We'll also be joined by Sicamous Eagles head coach and general manager, Liam McOnie. Heading into Week 13, the power rankings were led by the Revelstoke Grizzlies, the Grand Forks Border Bruins, Quesnel River Rush, Columbia Valley Rockies, Kamloops Storm, and Fernie Ghostriders. You know, we're already 3 games into the new week. On Tuesday, there were 2 games, both in the Yeti Mountain. Kimberley beat Golden, Fernie beat Columbia Valley. Both were 4-2 finals. On Wednesday, Sicamous down to Soyuz 3-1. Your division leaders heading into the weekend, Kimberley hanging on to top spot in the Yeti Mountain. Fernie just 3 points back with 4 games in hand. Princeton in the Bill Olhausen, but it's closer than it looks. Revy is 6 points back with 5 games in hand. Kamloops Storm clinging to first in the Doug Burks, while in the Neil Murdoch, Grand Forks is tops. Turning to special teams, Princeton's power play is first at 24.7%. Williams Lake Mustangs are next at 23.2%. On the penalty kill, Revelstoke number 1, 91%. Beaver Valley is second at 90.6%. They now have 15 shorthanded goals and are on pace to hit 26. Ollie Clement has 4 shorties himself. That's more than 15 teams in the league. Top scorer is Levi Astle of the Border Bruins with 44 points, followed by Matthew Langdon from Princeton with 37. Brayson Dubé from Kamloops and Taylor Haggerty from Fernie are next at 36. The longest active point streak belongs to Ethan Davey of the 100 Mile House Wranglers. He's at 14 games. Amongst goaltenders playing 480 minutes or more, Cale Svensson from the Sicamous Eagles is the leader with a .943 save percentage. Blake Sittler from the Posse at .938 and Revelstoke's Ryder Ponto .935. Time now for the ine+nutrition player spotlight. Boost your energy naturally with Canada's best tasting super greens by ine+nutrition. Abundant in over 50 antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals, ine+ super greens will improve your immune and digestive systems, increase your energy, and enhance your mental clarity. You'll feel better overall, almost like you can tackle any challenge. Shop now at www.ine+nutrition.com and use the code KIJHL10 to get 10% off your order.
Ghostriders, of course, looking for their first win. Here's Harry turning over, he shoots, he scores! The Ghostriders captain wins it and gives the Ghostriders their first win of the year. 3-2 here over the Nighthawks.
I'm joined by Fernie Ghostriders captain Taylor Haggerty. Taylor, welcome to Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Taylor, what do you like about how the group is performing lately?
I think we're finally starting to find our stride. We were catching up a little bit in games played, so I think now we're finally starting to figure out how to play the right way and playing as a team. And obviously we're finding success. Had a pretty good weekend last weekend against 2 very good hockey teams. So I think we got lots to build off of, and if we can keep going, we got a good thing going.
You guys have played in a lot of games decided by a goal. How do you think that will help you guys moving forward?
Those games are always good to play in. Obviously, they make you a little uncomfortable being in them, but I think it's a good learning lesson for our group. I mean, playoffs are all super close, tight games, and the fact that we're playing in these games now will just really help us for the future, and it'll just help our team confidence in those games and just knowing that we can stick around and we've been in this position before. So yeah, I think it's a good lesson to go through early in the year.
Kind of switching gears a bit, talking about yourself. If you maintain your current pace of production, you'll surpass last season's points. Did you do some work this off season to kind of focus on your offensive skills?
Yeah, I did. I was shooting pucks and just stick handling and stuff, but nothing too crazy, just in the gym, just kind of the usual basics. But, I think, my coaches, Chad and Dante, I owe a lot of, my success to is they've helped me a lot. We do video lots and, they switched me to the wing this year, which they wanted me to do to try to be more offensive even than last year and focus more on the offensive side. So, and they've taught me a lot of shooting stuff and So I think their help has also helped me a lot. So credit to them too.
And not wanting to jinx you or set you off that path, but I mean, right now you're on pace for a 70-point season if you're able to continue producing the way you have.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. I'd like to continue that. Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad.
Talk about the areas you're focused on improving on as a player.
Yeah, I want to definitely get better in the D zone and making sure I'm focusing on the details and playing the right way in the D zone rather than going for offense. My line mates, Coden Fournier and Ben Scarson, are really good too because they help push the pace and they're good in the D zone as well. So I just try to build off playing around them and focus in on D zone, and then that'll lead to offense where us three can really go and do our thing in the O zone, which is what we want to do and what our coaches want us to do. So,
what are some important things that you'd like to accomplish this season, both personally and as a team?
Just with it being our last year and us getting so close last year, we got a taste of being in the finals there. And I think it would be awesome to go out with a championship. That's the ultimate goal for sure. And I think we're almost right there. We got to work on a couple things, but I mean, I think we got a good group. And then just myself, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. Just keep putting up points, playing the right way, being a leader for the young guys coming up, and see if I can get on with a school somewhere or when that comes around. So that's probably my personal goals.
Have you started hearing from college programs expressing interest in you?
Yeah. I've talked to a couple schools and stuff. So, but I'm just kind of focusing on the team and my game right now before I make any major decisions. So
that's Taylor Haggerty, captain of the Fernie Ghostriders. Taylor, thanks for joining us on Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Glad to be here.
The Player Spotlight is a presentation of ine+nutrition. This is Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast, now available on YouTube. Up next, Sicamous Eagles head coach and general manager, Liam McOnie.
Sicamous skater onto the ice to St. Evans here as Conchu wheels through center, beats one. Conchu, drop pass. Evans back to the net, and it got stopped by Jesse. Conchu might have gotten a stick on it, not sure. Conchu again, net front, Evans scores! Hayden Evans in overtime. Eagles win 3-2.
On Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast, I'm talking with the head coach and general manager of the Sicamous Eagles, Liam McOnie. Thank you very much for doing this, Coach.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Thanks for having me. Excited to be on.
Let's talk about your record. You've got 7 wins in your last 8 games. You're 7-3 over your last 10, including a 3-1 win on Wednesday over Soyuz. What is your team doing right now?
I think just bringing a lot of energy right now. We're playing some good hockey and really just building momentum. And that starts in practice and has been carrying over to games, and we've been getting rewarded with some good results.
It looks like you spend a lot of time concentrating on the power play, 3rd best power play in the league. Off the top of my head, I think you're just under 23%. A lot of work on your power play?
Maybe not that much. Honestly, for the results that we've gotten this year, we've had a lot of different units. We've had a lot of different personnel on the power play. So really just a credit to the guys, as far as their resiliency and staying positive, whether they're on the power play, on the penalty kill, not on the power play, not on the penalty kill. We just given lots of guys different opportunities and been fortunate to capitalize.
Let's talk about your goaltending. Kale Svensson has just been absolutely magnificent this season. You had great goaltending with Mikowski. Gabe Bergeron is coming back. You had Josh Hager last season when you were with North Okanagan. Is it safe to say that Liam McOnie is a goaltending coach?
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I don't want to sound biased, but I'm a pretty firm believer that it's the most important position on the team. And if you have a good goaltender, you have a chance to win every game. And certainly feel that right now we have 2 very good goaltenders. And just looking forward to seeing, obviously, how far Kale can take this run that he's on right now. And obviously very confident in Gabe, too, who has lots of experience at this level and now some experience playing in the Maritime Junior A Hockey League.
Yeah, we should just mention that right now at this point, heading into the weekend, Kale has the best save percentage in the KIJHL at 943. I do want to talk about the division you're in, because the Sicamous Eagles have the 6th best record in the KIJHL. Yet in the Bill O'Hausen division, that's only good for 3rd. Talk about this division, which, we say this about every division. It's the toughest division in junior hockey. But my goodness, the Bill O'Hausen is a very challenging division.
It's certainly a gauntlet. Obviously, Princeton and Revelstoke have done a very good job. They've got a lot of older and veteran players who have come back and really taken the charge. And, obviously those two teams have taken it upon themselves to be the teams to beat this year. And honestly, Merritt, Soyuz, and Kelowna are no easy outs either. Merritt's young, but has a ton of skill. Soyuz plays really hard, and Kelowna obviously came to Sicamous and beat us on home ice. So there's definitely no easy outs, and no matter who you play in this league, if you don't show up, you're not going to get the results. So we're just focusing on really showing up and playing the way that we need to play to be successful, and trying not to focus on the standings or the results as much as just the process and sticking with the program.
When I look at the team, the league's top scorers, I don't see a Sicamous Eagle in the top 20, yet you seem to be putting the puck in the net. Is it safe to say that your team scores by committee?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got, I think, 13 forwards that are all over half a point a game, as well as a couple defensemen who are certainly chipping in too. So, yeah, we're definitely blessed with a lot of depth and a lot of guys who have a lot of skill. So there's no shortage of, puck hungry players on our team and goal hungry players. So it's just going to be a matter of who can keep it going the longest and, who can step up in those big moments.
Anybody can go to the website and look at the stats and see who the top producers are on your team. But sometimes there's those intangibles, those guys that they just produce for you, but they don't show up on the stat sheet. Any guys that you feel on your team really deserve more credit than maybe the stat sheet shows?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think you can start with Jackson Maloney, who I think he's had a few points in his last couple games, but just a real heartbeat player, plays hard, finishes checks, leads by example. That would be our guy up front, who is sort of that example. And on the back end, you can look at a guy like Matt Marino and Grayson Williamson, who take a ton of pride in being, shut down players and PK players. And really taking charge in that role. Wednesday night in the Soyuz, we had Clayton Gilmore probably play his best game of the year and not get rewarded with any points. So, as frustrating as that can be for players at times, it's still good to keep guys moving forward and playing the right way.
This weekend, 2 very, very big games, one against Revelstoke, the other against Quesnel, both playing very good hockey of late. What do the Sicamous Eagles have to do at home to pull 4 points out of this weekend?
Really focus on how hard we work and the details of the game. Revelstoke is known to be probably the hardest working team in the league. They play a very structured game, and if we don't match their work rate, we're not going to have a chance to win. So we got to play a hard-nosed, detailed game against those guys. And Quesnel is a team that, obviously I'm familiar with a lot of those players, a lot of skill, a lot of talent. And if you give them opportunities, they will capitalize. So it's going to be about really managing the puck, playing smart, defensive-minded hockey, while also making sure that we capitalize on our opportunities.
Liam McOnie is the head coach and general manager of the Sicamous Eagles. Thank you very much for doing this.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
This is Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast, available on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcast, YouTube, and on the KIJHL.ca website. Our thanks this week to the KIJHL broadcasters, in particular, Scott Campbell and Ben Phillips. KIJHL Director of Communications, Emanuel Sequeira, Eagles head coach and general manager, Liam McOnie, and Fernie Ghostриder, Taylor Haggerty. A big thank you to the good folks at ine+nutrition. Don't forget to use the code KIJHL10 to get that discount. Finally, a stick tap to Flow Hockey, which brings our players closer to their families and friends back home. I'm Mark Berry. This is Top Shelf, the KIJHL podcast. We're back here in 7 days.